There's something about having land and sea. Never having to choose between digging in or looking out. Here, you can go where the spirit or the wind moves you. To the tops of the trees, along secluded beaches, or into more wild and scenic rivers than anywhere else in the western United States. We're the closest place to the sunset while still keeping your feet dry, and a destination where anyone can begin. We share more than we keep, so you can see more than you imagined. This is a place you have to touch, hold, and feel to believe. The entire shoreline of the West Coast's best coast is open to you, and playgrounds made of forests are waiting for you. Escape to Curry County and don't leave anything out.
If yours is the next big idea, and you need the right place to fine-tune it, build it, launch it, if you're only your best when you can play more than you work, if inspiration comes from the outside, you belong in Curry County. The westernmost point of the land you love, and the edge between familiar and uncharted. Break the pattern. Be where the airports are as close as the beaches, and industry and recreation never cease to amaze. Dock, dive, and dine in a single day, and never lose your connection. This is the threshold of the West. Live where you can do you, and do it well, at the farthest point from ordinary. Curry County, living on the edge.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Wildfire, as everyone knows, has emerged as one of the big major issues affecting Oregon, and for that matter all western states. A real actionable response that's including how do we fight fire, actively managing our forests so that we don't have the fuels out there, and how are we going to protect communities from smoke exposures. The council is really set up to have a comprehensive strategy that's based on action and based on protecting our communities.
The primary focus we as a board have come through with is that in researching the policies for fire management, yes, prescribed fire has its place on the landscape, but not during fire season. We, as a county, passed a proclamation that says once the state fire marshal declares fire season, it'll be nothing but full suppression, and recently took a resolution to the National Association of Counties, essentially says that they support coordination between agencies and local governments for the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens regarding fire. Prescribed fire, fire season, anything that affects our citizens.
This is Lily Morgan from Josephine County, and we are at the Rogue Leadership Forum today, looking at the best possible partnerships that we can come up with to fight the fire issues and the smoke issues that we're facing in Southwest Oregon. So looking forward to coming up with solutions and the partnerships to get the job done so we don't face what we have the last few years with catastrophic fires and smoke that invades our communities for months to come. So this is a good opportunity, and we hope to be successful in the outcome.
Seeing so many people come together has really been exciting for me because there's a lot of expertise, there's a lot of resources, and as we attempt to do a shared stewardship approach to keeping people safe, it's really important that we get together. So my name is Merv George Jr., and I'm the Forest Supervisor for the Rogue River Siskiyou National Forest. The first things is making sure to get fires out if they're threatening life and property. The second thing that I'm going to focus in on is when it's safe to do so, to put some fire on the landscape when it's cooler and not during fire season to reduce these same fuels that are giving us so much fits during the fire season.
Bob Horton, I'm the fire chief of Jackson County Fire District 3 in Southern Oregon. The challenges that are facing us in terms of the mega fires and the wildfires that we've been experiencing out in this valley, particularly in the last couple of years, but across the state and across the region, incredibly concerning to us in the fire community, those in our communities in general, our constituents and our patrons are extremely concerned, as they ought to be. And really the takeaway from the work that's being done now is this is an extraordinary collaboration of dozens on dozens of interested stakeholder groups who are coming together with a common purpose. It's really an inspiring showing of humanity to not only be able to provide for a greater quality of life for our people, but to be strong stewards of our land, so that our future for us and generations to come is incredibly bright.
Very pressing issue. It's bearing down on us. Fire season is approaching, and I am really interested in preventing my home and other homes in my community from being impacted by wildfire, specifically from being burnt down. That's my main reason for being involved.
Quite a collaboration of folks. We're here looking for practical solutions to help us unravel some of the issues surrounding wildfires today here in the state of Oregon. And my focus really is on planning for large wildfire events in advance of their occurrence. That way, when they do occur, we can respond more appropriately to those situations.
Well, I just think it's grand if all of the people all over the state have come together today to be concerned about water. It just warms my heart, because I know that they really will leave here today feeling more impressed about the water, because I have told them that we're all born in water. We cannot live without it. It's our job to take care of it, stop the garbage in the rivers and streams and oceans, because there's life in that water, and it's our job to keep it clean for them. Because we cannot live on this planet without the animal kingdom. I was in Ohio at the Ohio River with Dr. Emoto, the Japanese scientist who had proven water could heal. He and I stood on the riverbank and blessed the Ohio River that they had us come to do. And I prayed that God has still kept the river good for them over there. We were taught when we were little that prayer works. You too will remember your prayers, because they work. It has nothing to do with religion or church.
Why do counties matter? Simple. Counties provide the services we all depend on. If you're concerned about crime, get a regular flu shot. Drive to work. Take public transportation. Or experience a natural disaster in your community. Chances are you benefit from county services. That's why counties matter. With America's system of federalism, counties are a key level of government, serving the people directly. So, do you vote? Had a recent hospital stay? Know someone in a nursing home? More reasons why counties matter. There are 3,069 counties across the country, with populations big and small. Most of us live and work in one. Even the nation's capital is considered a county. These county governments ensure that the food you eat in restaurants is safe. They care for the mentally ill, run court systems, build local economies, and operate 911 emergency systems. They manage parks and recreation facilities, and the list goes on. Thing is, counties serve the American people in so many ways, keeping our communities healthy, vibrant, safe, and fiscally sound. That's why counties matter.
Hi there, I'm Patrick Priest, Executive Director at CIS. And I really enjoy coming every year to this conference because CIS, we are all about counties. We are owned by counties. We were formed by the AOC. This is a great occasion for us to meet everybody in one place and learn what's important to the counties all across Oregon.
It's the networking. I mean, we learn a lot about the different issues that counties deal with, but it's networking with other commissioners, getting ideas on how they handle situations that is the most helpful for me.
I love my job. It actually matters to me on a daily basis. I used to do a lot of charity, and, you know, in commissioning in Deschutes County, you can make a serious difference. Lots of things have happened since I've been in office, and I feel like it's important to represent the people. I grew up in Eastern Oregon, and I love the residents of Eastern Oregon. The architect of our first house actually had Doris Day as a dear friend and a client, and he would bring Doris Day up the mountains in Malibu to our house as it was being built.
This is my fourth conference at AOC. My favorite part is the fellowship with other commissioners and coming up with solutions with common situations and with commissioners from around the state to best serve our people. My favorite part about being a commissioner in Josephine County is the people that we work with. We live in the most beautiful place, but we have the most beautiful people. They are talented, artistic, caring. We have such a high level of philanthropy and just caring for our fellow citizens, and it's the best place in all of Oregon.
Hi, I'm Commissioner Martha Schrader from Clackamas County, Oregon. I'm the current president of the Association of Oregon Counties. Oh my goodness, I've been president for 1 year, but I've been a member of the Association of Oregon Counties since 2003. So one of the reasons I really wanted to be president, and I've enjoyed it so much, is because I get to know everybody across the state, all the commissioners, and I've been from one end of the state to the other, visiting with them, talking with them, and really getting an idea of how we differ, but more importantly, what our similarities are and what we can do with one another to move forward with good county government.
I've been coming to AOC now for 4 years. My favorite part of serving as commissioner is trying to bring positive effects for our community and our county.
This is my second year at AOC, and the camaraderie that I've found in my Eastern Oregon partners and just the camaraderie of AOC has really blessed my life.
My name is Court Boyce, Curry County Commissioner. This is a collection of people, county commissioners, public officials, well attended from all over the state. You know, I have the
Hi, Mr. Johnson. Well, good morning, Curry County, Oregon Board of Commissioners. It is the last day of June 2021. We have a special meeting. It is 10 o'clock a.m. To my far left is Director of County Operations Brad Rickert. To my immediate left is Commissioner Christopher Pash. We have Commissioner Herzog on the telephone. Hope you're getting a well-deserved rest. And to my far right is County Counsel Anthony Pope, and to his right, Staff Jesuit. In the audience, we have Treasurer Barnes, we have Captain McDonald, we have Sheriff Ward, and we have Lieutenant Donnie Dodds from Brookings Police Department. Welcome all. So, call to order and Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You still hearing okay, Commissioner Herzog?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Board approval or amendment of the agenda. Commissioner Pash?
I have an amendment to the agenda to add to the action item dispatch system for Curry County first responders. Discussion and action item, we can make it.
Okay. Commissioner Herzog, you heard that okay?
Yeah, that's a radio
Yes, sir.
update, yeah.
So I also want to add discussion and action item to extend another week for possible further review, research into the CODOWN dispatch system. The board gave me a week, and I've got some information, and I sent that to you yesterday. That's as quick as I could get it to everyone, by the way, including the sheriff, the captain. So I want to add that to either item number 4, action item, or number 5, other.
Well, can we just piggyback it onto the same? We can all talk about everything at once?
But you're going to want to vote, is that correct, on your agenda addition?
Yes. Okay. So how about, can we make it 4A or 4B and 4C?
And my discussion would be 4B, and yours would be 4C.
You want to make me after you? Okay, that's fine.
Well, I'm hoping we don't have a vote today. If there's a reason to slow this thing down a little bit and look at this. Did you look at the information I sent yesterday afternoon?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So, Commissioner Herzog, we've added 4A, a vote action discussion item on the earlier, as I understand, the earlier proposed dispatch system. And then I've added item 4 would be, excuse me.
4B and C.
4B and C, correct. And then I want to pull on the consent agenda the entire budget matter with all the supplementals and delay that for 1 week, board. Director Rickert?
With today being the last day of the month, we've worked really hard to try to get back in compliance with laws. Those supplemental budgets do need to be done today. All the information is there. Gave everybody 24-hour notice to look it over. If you have questions, we can talk about it now. But it really does need to be done today.
So, Council Pope, is that right that we approve supplemental budgets after the fact all the time? That's just the way it works in a small county government. So I'm trying to understand if we are absolutely obligated in some fashion to get this with less than 24 hours notice done before today. So I need some help on that.
And to be honest with you, I don't know the details. I kind of refer to Brad about that. That's kind of his department. But maybe, if Brad, does this have to do because we're coming to the end of the budget year that it needs to be done before then?
Yeah, we're trying to get everything closed out, and Sina is anyway, like I said, she's been working hard to get all this done so that we can get it done on time.
Well, Commissioner Pash?
Well, I just know under Oregon laws and statutes, we are required to have our budget in place by the midnight of tonight, and all your supplemental budgets are supposed to be in place, and we need to stay within the laws of the state of Oregon and be in compliance with those laws. For several years before I got here, those laws were not being followed, and the county suffered for it through the state. So the supplemental budgets are pretty clear. I don't see anything in them that would stop us from voting to approve them today and remain in compliance with the state law.
And I didn't have time for proper review. There was a lot of information there to process. You keep referencing the law, and you mentioned past breakdowns. Nobody's beaten down our door for those mistakes. There has to be an intent here to first do the best thing for the citizens. And without proper time or appropriate time to review this, I'm asking for 1 week, and I have several other questions that are important and related to where we are today. I just have an issue. I mean, we're talking about moving thousands of dollars around here. So here's where we are. I'm going to emphasize we've done supplemental budgets, and we'll be doing many more, I assume, for the next fiscal year. So I want to know how much overtime is being paid to rush this through. Payroll mistake audits, I want to know where we are on that. I've not heard a word. Any kind of upgrade there, or update, excuse me. COVID relief funds, I still haven't added. Has the board had a good report on that?
Yes.
Specific?
I gave it about a month ago.
Okay.
And as far as the supplemental goes, and these are really just straightforward standard adjustments. They
I'll
don't
take your
deal
word.
anything with the payroll audit. It has to deal with grants that some of them have to do with grants that we've already received money in that the board has approved, and we're just required by law to do a supplemental on the budget. Again, they're just straightforward adjustments. If you have questions,
I didn't get enough time to read it is the problem.
And it was
we've been doing
24-hour
this
notice.
to the last minute, too long, and pushing people to get done by deadlines. And I'm not convinced that we're in any way compromising the law here. So if we rush through this today, when I'm only asking for an additional week, so that we get our stuff together and give people in your department sufficient time, and the commissioners have good supportive time for review, I'm not going to support this today. And I have other questions that are related to the budget, and that's OpenGov to Cassell, back to OpenGov, back to Cassell, all the transitions. I want to know where we are on that. You don't have to answer me today. I want to give you that week.
Those are outside the supplementals, though.
Yeah, but it's important to understand where we are, and that has been the issue. And, I still don't know where we are with the amount of road fund reserves that we want to authorize. So, hang on. Commissioner Pash?
I just want to say I understand your concerns with different issues in the county, but that has nothing to do with the year-end budget process. Supplemental budgets are done all the time during the year. If someone has a need for something, they submit a supplemental budget for it. The board looks at it and approves or denies it. This is year-end things to balance. We have to have a balanced budget. So we have to, by law, produce that by the end of today. These are supplemental budgets to increase or decrease budgeted areas. As we all know, budgets are constantly a moving item. There's nothing in stone on them. So from an annual year-end budget process, this is just the final steps on this reporting process to the state that we are required to do by law.
So, Commissioner Herzog, do you want to weigh in here? Because I've said my piece.
It seems to me that we voted and we passed the budget, or voted to accept that budget as approved, and then any supplemental, having not been there for 3 days, I don't know.
May I speak, please?
I think you might be able to speak after me. I don't know who that is, but so at this point, from what I've heard, is that supplemental budgets are looked at all throughout the year, and we voted on it. We got an approved budget. I'd like to look at, and I don't know if I can hear through the telephone, description or information about this supplemental that would change my mind that we couldn't do it next week.
Did you drop your phone a minute ago there?
What's that got to do with the business?
I wonder if you dropped your phone there a minute ago. So we have Chief Clerk, Accounting Clerk, Cena Crook would like to address the board. Please.
We have, I'm going to take my mask off, is that right?
Certainly.
Most of these pertain to money we have received and have planned expenditures for them. And we have resolutions in place that have accepted that money. We need to get that money reflected in our budget by year end. The only time I can think of us doing a supplemental budget after year end was last year when we had some payroll realignment that needed done because of late issues. But these are things that you've already passed resolutions on, accepting the money. And with so much stuff going on, we didn't get the supplementals put in earlier to realign the budget. There's the one about the snowcat, and we have to have a supplemental to take the money out of the contingency line and put it up into a working budget line, which is the purchase of equipment. You have a resolution approving that already in place. Another one of these is for the COVID CARES money that we're getting to reimburse us for our costs. You already have a resolution on that. And then another one is for the AR, what's it called?
The ARP.
Yeah, for that money, and you have a resolution in place already accepting that money. We just need to get this realigned into our current budget so we can get the year closed. We're so close to getting caught up, and we just want to start getting things done timely like it's supposed to be and move on, and we'll be so much farther ahead next year is our plan. So I just wanted to explain that you already have a resolution in place to approve these things, and we just need to get the budget realigned.
Director Rickert?
And I just want to reiterate, especially to Commissioner Herzog, it sounds like there might be some confusion, but these supplementals have nothing to do with next year's budget that was just approved. They deal with the current year's budget, and as Sina said, it's all money that has either been approved and has come in or approved and been spent. We just have to get the line items in the last year or the current year's budget correct. So we've been working hard trying to get back into compliance, getting things done on time, and it's really up to the board though if we want to continue not being in compliant. That's the board's choice. And again, these funds have already been accepted or spent. They're just balance sheet and balance sheet adjustments.
Well, I think it's a little more complicated than that, but it has been kind of a pattern of the last minute, and I'm well aware of
Yeah,
sorry.
And I apologize. Things have been a little bit last minute. We're still reeling from getting things back together from OpenGov, but again, it's last minute because a lot of Sina's effort is going into trying to get these done and get them on time. Anyway.
So, Commissioner Herzog, I don't see anything to wait a week. I see no compromise or jeopardy to the county whatsoever. I assume you've not had a chance to read it. I haven't had a chance to read it and ask questions. And, I'll be very aggressive to learn all I can during that week. I feel very much rushed, and I don't think it's in the best interest of the citizens. I certainly could be wrong, but that's my position. You have something to say, Treasurer Barnes? Well, somebody's whispering back there. I'd appreciate if you would respect, and if you need to talk, request to come up to the microphone. So,
I got my hand raised.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If those three things are, I love Sina's explanation, and I was thinking it's next budget, but I understand. So, if those are the three things in the supplemental budget, we've already approved them, and they're, I know there's no cap. So, yeah, I would be in favor of if that's the three items for the supplemental budget for today to get last year's budget closed out, and so they can audit or whatever. I'm good with that.
Okay, so Council, we want to put that. There's more than 3, so do we want to put that in a one motion, or do we want to separate those out?
Well, I think right now we're still talking about setting up the agenda and if this is going to be pulled or
Oh,
not.
yeah.
I should have stopped this. I didn't think about that till right now. But once we put it on the agenda, I think we can just do it in this one, just in one order here, one vote.
On consent, leave it on consent.
Yeah, you could leave it on consent.
Yeah, we veered off. That's probably my fault, but good discussion, Mrs. Crook. Thank you. Very well said, and good clarification there. So, Commissioner Pash, you recommend. We're going to come back to you, Commissioner Herzog, in just a moment, but you recommended leaving that, Commissioner Pash, in the consent agenda.
Yes, we can vote on it right now since we're in there. Can I just make a motion to?
No, we still have to approve the agenda, don't we? I think.
Yeah, I think we haven't voted for those other added items.
Okay, so we'll come back to that fairly promptly here. So, Commissioner Herzog, anything else you want to add to that?
No, sir.
Thank you. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved as as amended.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call for the question, please, Staff Jesuit.
Commissioner Pash.
Aye.
Vice Chair Herzog.
Yes.
Chair Boyce.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Okay, so we're going to the consent agenda.
I make a motion we approve the supplemental budgets as discussed.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call for the question, please, Staff Jesuit.
Commissioner Pash.
Aye.
Vice Chair Herzog.
Yes.
Chair Boyce.
Opposed?
Motion carried 2-1.
Public Health Transfer, Memorandum of Understanding, Council Pope.
All right, we just have an MOU that between us and OHA, and the purpose of this MOU is just to lay out what exactly we're going to be transferring back to them. As everybody's aware, they're taking over the local public health authority starting tomorrow. And I attached a draft copy of the MOU because I didn't have the final copy yet. Here's a final copy that I emailed out to you guys a bit earlier. And like I said, it's basically just laying out exactly what equipment was inventoried and you know what we should do with it or what's required to be returned.
I got a chance to, if I may, Board, I got a chance to visit just a moment with former Public Administrator Ward yesterday. This inventory was really, really well done. And I don't think she had a lot of help either. So I just want to make that acknowledgement there. Any discussion, Board? Yep. Yes. Just the microphone, please.
David Barnes, I'm the county treasurer. I read through this yesterday also, and I noticed there's a clause in there about giving this back to the state of Oregon. It did not say there was no method of return of this inventory to them. Shipping and transportation costs of getting all the equipment and stuff back to Salem would be rather significant. So I was wondering how that is to be addressed. It's the MOU calls for the return of the inventory to OHA, and I'm wondering who was bearing the cost of that return.
Mr. Pope, you want to discuss our
we
conversation from the other day?
Yeah, we did. We did talk to them about that. And I believe in the updated version, the initial version said we had to deliver everything to them. It's now been changed to transferred. And right now the understanding is they're going to come down and get it themselves. So yeah, that was a big concern I had too, because if we had to even just rent a U-Haul and spend county time, it would still be thousands of dollars. So appreciate that concern, but yeah, we did look
we were just a little nervous about that. Good job on that, and we still have to sort out what portion is going to go to Josephine County. Yeah. Okay. Looking for a motion on action item 4A.
I make a motion we approve the MOU for public health.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call for the question. John Jesuit, please.
Commissioner Pash.
Aye.
Vice Chair Herzog.
Yes.
Chair Boyce.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Okay, then we went to item 4B, discussion on Curry Communications competitive bid. And I mentioned during our discussion on consent agenda matters, requesting another week. I see we have the sheriff and the captain here. I'm looking for the, and Commissioner Herzog, I'm sorry you haven't had a chance to see this information, but if I understand correctly, forgive me, I'm going to try and grab the mouse here. Got it. Maybe they are long enough. Commissioner Herzog, last week I asked for a week to just work with the Coos County people and see if I could bring something back to the Sheriff's Department that would potentially save a lot of money. We got a report, a very impressive bid on the dispatch system for $155,000. Now, that's not to suggest in any way that it would be an easy transfer or it'd be automatically the way to go, but we do have the potential to save some money. And so I want to go over some questions here that I sent and just 20 minutes ago got answers from Rick Felt, who is the bid submitter on this. And I'll just offer that competition is good. Go ahead.
For the record, what company does he work for?
Codan Zetron. Codan just bought out Zetron. He gave references here from all over the United States, all different, pretty impressive. But you know what they all say: none of us are as good as our resumes. So here's the questions I asked. Please address radio upgrades. This could be interrupted in several ways. Radio infrastructure upgrades. The Zetron Codan supports the public safety industry standards of P25 at an affordable rate. I think he'll be more than willing to elaborate on some of these questions, and I'll submit this forwarded to the police departments. Subscribers, mobiles, portables, and base stations. If the county is staying on the same frequency, upgrades are required, but may just require reprogramming. My question again, second question, it may take some time, but if Curry did accept the bid, what is the general time needed to get the Curry Communications new system up and running? 60 to 90 days is standard for Zetron dispatch consoles. And I mentioned that they just bought out the Zetron Corporation. My third question, also, would everything be compatible with Coos County and the city of Brookings? He said, yes, Coos County and the city of Brookings, based, in parentheses here, based on online public information, more investigating required, would be compatible through AFSI or DFSI. I don't have a clue. I think I forgot what that is. Anybody know what that means? That's here? Okay. Well, we'll get him to clarify and offer more information on that. The fourth question, communicate the long-term maintenance plans and commitments, working with Day Wireless, etc. Zetron, Codan, and Day Wireless share many customers. Zetron, Codan would encourage the county to explore a direct relationship with Day Wireless, and Zetron, Codan will continue to support and train Day Wireless. I'm not exactly sure what that means, who's going to be training who, but I think it was meant in a very sincere way. His company could also prime the opportunity and offer Day Wireless's subprime work, but this would require more time to, and I think he means to analyze. Fifth question, references in addition to Curry County, and that's where he goes all over the state. And then he just concludes, his company appreciates the interest and looks forward to spending time with county leadership and customizing the best possible solution for Curry County. And then he gives me his schedule. So I'm going to bring up on the screen here the contract or the bid, and it is $155,000. I don't want to compare apples and oranges here, so I need just the trust of the general concern here for ways that we might be able to save money. I'm not recommending this. I don't know enough about it. I got it to the sheriff as early as I possibly could and Captain McDonald. So this is a new dispatch system. That was my concern, that he was just talking about radios when we originally had the discussion with him last Thursday morning early. So I entered the board and got got this to you by less than 1 week later, which would have been yesterday afternoon. But the bottom line here is this something that should give us at least cause for pause at $155,000? Commissioner Herzog, there is about, I don't know, is there 6 categories? No, about 10 that have separate bids that combine collectively to get to the final bid of 155. And so I see Captain McDonald come up to the podium here, and anxious to hear. Did you get a chance to review this yesterday?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So please proceed.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for letting me speak today. But all right, so here's my concern with this. Number one, this is a whole new company. Number two, the proposal that I brought to you from Motorola, from Day Wireless, is an engineered solution that's custom engineered to our dispatch center and how we do business. Okay, now that's number one. Okay, this is a list of parts that come in a box with no installation, no engineering. It's just a price list. This does not cover all of the equipment that the Motorola quote covers. Zertron makes a dispatch center. I'll be the first one to admit it. There are some counties that use it. We don't. We use a Motorola product. Right now we use the Motorola Gold Elite. If you wanted me to come in, all right, and number two, we did not put out a request for proposal, all right? I went to Day Wireless, who is our contracted radio equipment supplier, and they also maintain our system. They designed our system. They maintain our system. I went to them and said, look, I'm going to be asking for money sometime in the future, having no idea that the American Recovery Act money was coming. I need to know how much it will cost to update our dispatch center, because that's the next major thing that needs to happen for public safety in this community. And it took them months to engineer a solution, and what I brought to you when that money became available was that engineered solution. This, again, is a parts list that somebody threw together in less than a week, probably based upon what they could see and hear. All right, whoever these people are have never been to our dispatch center. They don't know how our system works. So we didn't put out all right, when you said this is a bid on a request for proposal, we did not put out a request for proposal. If we're going to put out a request for proposal, then we're going to have to hire somebody to come in and put one together that has all the technical expertise to put together that request for proposal so that we can then compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. This and this are not comparing apples to apples, okay? Yes, these parts are cheaper. Motorola also makes a dispatch console system that's less expensive than the one that's in here. The one that is in here is their K2 Core. Their K2 Core is the industry leading standard, all right? It also, the K2 part means that it's a redundant system, all right? It has a redundant server, because these are all computer-based today. It has a redundant server, so if the first server goes down, the second server kicks in. I don't see that in here. We're a remote, isolated place that does not hire our own in-house, lives here, works for the county, radio tech or computer tech. It's all contracted out, all right? But that's okay. We get industry experts by doing that. When I call Day Wireless sends somebody over. If we have an emergency, they send somebody right now to fix it. These people, I don't know who their techs are. I know Zertron's made in Seattle. I don't know where their techs come from. All right, and we don't have a built-in relationship with them. I didn't bring to you the cheapest system that we could buy. That's not the proposal I brought to you. That's not what I asked Day Wireless to give me. I brought to you the best system that is compatible with how we do business, that is the same as what our dispatchers currently use. There's a technical term for it. It's graphic user interface. So I've been trained to look at this screen and know exactly how to operate this, all right? So that when I'm dispatching an ambulance, I go here. When I'm popping a door in the jail, I go over here. When I'm dispatching police, I click here. This is how I've been trained. When I answer 911, I click here. The system that I proposed, that I brought to you, is the exact replacement. That it's seamless when it comes to our dispatchers using it. Now, when you talk about, is it compatible with Coos County? Is it compatible with Brookings Police Department? Number one, all radios is just, it's a matter of programming. The dispatch centers, the only way it's compatible or the same is if you use the same equipment. Brookings Police Department, their dispatch center uses the Motorola 7500E, which is what we're requesting here. If something happens to our dispatch center or something happens to their dispatch center,
Got a little backup.
right. So what happens is, right now, I have dispatchers at work and he has dispatchers at work. But if my dispatch center goes down and we can't operate it for some reason, in order to dispatch all of the agencies in the county at one time, we can do that from either station, from his station or mine. But it's going to take more dispatchers to do it. So my dispatchers would have to go to Brookings and work out of the Brookings Police Department until we got fixed. Or his dispatchers would have to come up here and work out of our dispatch center to help out, to cover the volume of calls that are received, that are split between the two centers. So whether it's the same thing as Coos County has, I don't care, because we don't work hand in hand with Coos County like that. Our radios themselves, yeah, we have their frequencies programmed into our radios. They have our frequencies programmed into their radios. When we get into their radio coverage area, we can key up and talk to them if we need to, and they can do the same thing here. That's radio interoperability. That's something that everybody's required to do. Like I said, I didn't bring to you, and I mean, I'm not going to pick Zertron apart. I am not a 100% expert on what works here, but I will tell you that this $155,000 does not cover everything that this proposal does. This proposal is engineered. If we're going to get into a bidding war, then we're going to have to comply with bidding rules and regulations. This proposal is actually written up and submitted under a purchasing agreement that we are authorized to use and to purchase under, which then we don't have to do an RFP. All right. This one, I don't know. This is a price list. If we're going to go for an RFP, we're now talking about months of work, that because Motorola is not going to say, here's all of our engineering, here's what you need to ask everybody, because this doesn't say everything, and that's very obvious when you look at this list.
Okay.
So what I get trying to save money. This isn't the cheapest thing that Motorola can give us. This is the best thing for our community that has redundancies and backups built into it. This system controls 2 radio channels at a time. This one controls 5 at a time. We have 5 radio channels. This one also brings a RF consulate into the program, which right now our link to Grizzly Mountain is a wire line. They don't know that. They didn't put that in here. All right. So we have that, and plus this also brings a RF, which is a radio frequency, back up to that, so we can still access Grizzly if the line goes down.
So here's what I'm going to recommend.
Well, if I can finish, please. Okay. So what I suggest, and I mean, you guys have voted on this. We're going to add months to this program. Every day that we delay this, once we do order it, puts us farther and farther and farther behind. If we're going to now start doing a bid process, then, like I said, you're going to have to hire an engineer to come in and look at our system and put together a request for proposal. Otherwise, you're not going to do it in a legal manner, because you have to, if you're going to put out an RFP, you have to spec out, this is exactly what we want, so that people are bidding on the exact same thing. These are not bidding on the same thing, and this one has no labor involved. There is, and it's not, even though we call it the dispatch center and it's all radio, it's not all radio. Our dispatch center controls our jail also, and that is not reflected in these parts, nor is there any labor reflected in this. And
I've heard that.
So
okay. Fair enough.
And I've stated this on every time I've been in here. I mean, I've been in this business for a long time. Our dispatch center and the fact that it is built, I mean, it was built and it was the gold elite. It was the cat's meow. It was the best thing on the market in its day. It's now a liability to this county. It is currently being operated with used spare parts, and I've said this every time. It's not if it's going to break, it's when it's going to break, and then when that happens, we're hanging out there. Every day that let's try and do something different, which, I mean, you've said that you're not a radio expert. I've been working with radio systems for my entire police career, all right? Am I an expert? No. Do I understand what needs to happen and what I'm asking for? Yes, I do. If I thought Zertron was the best fit for our county, if I thought that they could do what we needed and it would integrate seamlessly, I would have brought you a proposal from Zertron. I wouldn't have brought you a proposal from Motorola.
Yeah, but you didn't have that option before.
Oh, yes, I have
so
every option
why wouldn't
I
you
want.
Why wouldn't you want to take a week or even two, Captain, and determine if they can answer the questions you've had? Where is the labor?
Because
should we do an RFP? Is it the best interest of the citizens to see where we're spending and not have a rush on this and just have one option? I'm not in favor of that. If we can contact these people and say, and I agree, if the Motorola is proprietary, then we don't want to give out that information. We want to be fair, of course. But if this company, and they have a tremendous reputation in Coos County and around the nation, why wouldn't we take a look at? I don't think we're talking months here. You just heard him say it would take 60 to 90 days. That's also what.
That's months.
Well, okay, that's also the same time frame that you represented with Motorola there.
No, Motorola. All right. Okay. I'm all right.
Isn't it going to take a couple months to get this done?
Here's what I'm asking. I'm asking. All right. I'm going to go like this. You guys voted to accept this proposal. All right. This is what. I mean, I've come to you as we're the ones that operate this system, and I've said this is the system that we need. This is what we need to do our job to support our community. This is the system that we operate seamlessly with our partners. All right. I've come to you and said this is what we need, and you're saying you don't know anything. I'm going to go talk to I'm going to go talk to these people over here. I brought this to you. You voted on it. You even voted yes, that you supported this, and yes, that we will do this if you can't bring a proposal back in a week. This isn't a proposal. This is a packing list that doesn't fit the needs. I'm asking that you move forward with the solution and the equipment that we requested the county to provide.
So would you participate in participate in even a 2-week delay so I can get you additional information?
We've already been delayed.
So even if it could save, even if it could possibly save.
You said a week ago, and now a week again. All right. I've looked at this. It's not the same system.
That's all the time we had. The commissioners gave me 1 week to see if we could save maybe $200,000 or $300,000. That's my responsibility.
Okay.
Why wouldn't we all support that and see this came on board last minute as a possible option? Why wouldn't we take a sincere look at that and say, okay, no, this is nothing we're interested in or can support, or we need to give them another week to answer the questions that you legitimately just defined there.
Okay, so all right. You don't, okay, you make the decisions on the money. I get that. You're the one that gets to approve that. You don't operate this system, all right? We would have to operate a system that we're not,
Give them a chance to answer your questions. Maybe
I don't have any questions of them, okay? I
You
have
just
none.
mentioned, I just wrote down notes that you had, I think are very valid to why you think we need to, this is not comparing the same two programs. So let's see if we can get a chance to do that. We might, can you admit that if we all sat down and worked together, we might possibly save $200,000 or $300,000?
I think that we'll come up with a cheaper system that does not fit our needs or take us into the future. I think that's what will happen.
I don't think Coos County would have a cheaper system. They seem to be very, very
We're
happy.
not Coos County.
Well, I understand that, but
And Coos County's system doesn't run their jail. Ours does. There's a whole bunch of difference. We're not Coos County.
Then you should communicate that to the citizens, and I think that would be a golden opportunity. I think you'd be very good at it.
I'm communicating. The citizens aren't the one that are making this decision. They're not the ones asking for a week. Everybody that has listened to our proposals has said they support this 100%.
So what would we do if we didn't have the American Rescue Plan?
Before I get totally upset, I'm going to let the sheriff go. But like I said, I'm going to just go over this again. The Motorola 7500E is the exact replacement for the system that we have. It will be seamless. It will do everything that we've asked it to do, or everything that we've asked them to do for us. It's a complete integration of our system. And, you know, I'll just throw this out. You said, you know, Klamath County and Douglas County use this. Yes, they do. I talked to Douglas County's dispatch center this morning. The Vesta system, which is 911, doesn't integrate into this.
I didn't say Douglas County.
Well, they do. They use
Zetron. Fair enough.
Okay. So, but I know that, you know, you bring Douglas County into all of this a lot. So, but anyways, well, they use this also. Their the Vesta, which is the state-provided 911 system that we all use, Brookings uses, everybody uses, it doesn't integrate into this. That comes directly from who just switched to an old Zetron system to the new Zetron Max. They had Zetron, they stayed with Zetron. We have Motorola. I'm asking that we stay with Motorola. All right. Again, I'm telling you, I did not ask Motorola for their cheapest product. I asked Motorola for the best product, so that when we purchase something, it takes us into the future, and it takes us everywhere that we need to go.
Okay, Sheriff Ward.
So,
thank you, Captain.
Well, I don't know where to start, really, other than this whole system was approved and voted on by the commissioners. And we made our proposal with Motorola 3 times here, every time it was approved, till the last time where you wanted another week. That system that like I said, has no information about what it costs to install it, who's going to install it. The training on the dispatch, our dispatch center, would have to be incredibly high, expensive, because it's a whole new system, and it doesn't integrate basically with Brookings. We want the same system. We don't work for Coos County. We're not Coos County, we're Curry County. And you said last meeting, you don't understand this. And you were provided information from a lot of us that do understand it. And then you all of a sudden come up with you talk to Mike Robertson. Yeah, he's a great guy. I like him too. And I did talk to him after that meeting. He says, I never told Court Boyce we could save him a lot of money on the dispatch center. We talked about...
No, he didn't, and I didn't promote anything like that, Sheriff.
Yeah, you did. You said about this whole system.
I said maybe we could save some money.
Let me finish.
I wanted a good review. You're saying
this is my time to talk, okay? You keep interrupting me all the time, and I don't appreciate it.
You said something that's not accurate, sir.
It is accurate.
No, I didn't
because
say...
I did talk. I went back and watched the video several times of that meeting.
And I said that he said he could save us money. Maybe.
He said he could save money on the Hilltop radios. Has nothing to do with the dispatch console system. Okay? What Motorola has proposed is an engineered study that they can come in and replace our equipment, and our dispatch can see the exact same thing that they were working on. Not a new system where they all have to be retrained. I don't even know if that stuff will integrate with our jail pops and whatever. We don't know anything about this system.
Okay.
But the thing is, we know what Motorola gives, and we know what we get with Motorola. Mr. Herzog, Commissioner Herzog, I hope you're understanding this. that this is the best way to go. If you talk about funding, we had discussed updating our system for a long time. We were trying to figure out how we're going to get the money for it. We all knew it's going to have to come from the road fund reserve, because when it breaks, it has to be done now. And the only money that we can is road fund reserves. Now, all of a sudden, you got this ARP money, and it comes to the county, and it doesn't cost the county any money to put this system in, the Motorola system. It's going to, and I did talk to Motorola yesterday. They said they were expecting this to be passed, which it was last week, and I said, you're going to have to hold on. Well, we had you in a July schedule to get started on this. Motorola is very busy. You even said Motorola is on their way out. They're the leading radio company, equipment manufacturer in the world. There's no question about that. So they know what they're doing. This equipment that we're asking for is to upgrade. It puts us way into the future. I have Donnie Dotson here. I've asked him to come in and explain if you have any questions about the system that they're operating on, the one that we're trying to go to. So, Donnie, you want to say something?
Answer any question you might have. Excuse me.
Welcome. You got to adjust the microphones there.
You asked earlier, Commissioner Boyce, what would we do if we didn't have the American Rescue Plan? We were in that position. We didn't have the American Rescue Plan 3 years ago when we went through exactly what you're going through now. We had saved for years, knowing that this was coming, that we were also Gold Elite, and Motorola notified us that Gold Elite was no longer going to be supported. I think it was in 2018 that it was declared end of life. So we saved, and we saved, and we saved. And anybody that knows me and my habits knows that I'm always looking for a way to save a buck, whether on equipment where we can, right? But they'll also tell you there are certain places where I won't scrimp, I won't sacrifice. And these radios, they're not only, or consoles in this case, but the whole radio system. This is the lifeline for our people, our responders, police, fire, medical, but it's also the lifeline for the citizens, right? That's how the responders get the information that they need, is over these systems. So I take very seriously the reliability of the system and then of our service. Our service provider is Day Wireless. We have really no other option, but that's okay because they're great. I have a ton of respect for them and how they operate. They're a Motorola, what are they called? Premium partner, I think it is. Basically, they're like this with Motorola. Their service techs, when they come out, or oftentimes they don't even have to come out. They can coach us through over the phone because they are so knowledgeable about this MCC 7500 system, because that's the vast majority of their customers use this system. So if something goes wrong, or if we decide we want to make a little tweak to the system, a lot of times these guys just have it. They just know the system so well that they don't have to look it up in the manual or call somebody, back east or wherever. They're already experts with these systems. So that was part of our calculation. We looked at a competitor. They were called Avtech. And we were in the same position. Man, we could save a few bucks here by going to something completely different. It looks totally different. It behaves totally different. Avtech was a company that kind of made their name in air traffic control consoles. They started to break into the public safety market. Day Wireless trained up a couple techs to work on them because I believe it was Arcata, maybe Humboldt State, maybe Eureka. One or two agencies down there caught on to this, that they could save a few bucks with going with this Avtech company. So Motorola, or Day Wireless rather, because I asked, how could we save a few dollars? Motorola is expensive, but it's great. Is there a way? And Day Wireless service manager, whom I respect, says, well, you could look at this other company. So we did. At the end of the day, it wasn't worth it. With genuine interest in the system, it just didn't pencil out. It just didn't make sense. And long and short of it is, since then, Motorola has bought Avtec. So that's not really an option anymore. Motorola, about the same time, bought Airbus. Airbus is the company that makes our 911 system, or Motorola is now, Vesta. So the Vesta system is owned by Motorola. Our MCC 7500, of course, is Motorola, and they just work perfectly together. Part of my calculation back in 2018 when we did this was what direction is the sheriff's office going to go? When I was exploring this Avtec possibility, I went, well, and I called up here. Is there a chance that when you guys replace your Gold Elite that it's going to be Avtec? Because if not, strike against Avtec. And the answer was no, we never even heard of it, you know? So it's what Captain McDonald was talking about, the seamless transition, there can't be enough said for that in not having to retrain our people. When we switched from Gold Elite to MCC, it was seamless, truly seamless. It looks identical. So anyway, happy to answer any questions you guys might have about how it went.
Well, you said something very interesting there. You said City of Brookings saved money. Curry County is not famous for saving money under almost any circumstances. So, and that's going to come back to bite us someday, and that's why I'm sticking my neck out here in a pretty intense conversation. You know, Curry County has a tremendous terrain, and so we had to put $800,000 into those 5 or 6 towers, which I fully supported, and I also supported this, okay? When I see an opportunity, though, that might, through a competitive, and by the way, Captain McDonald, I did misspeak. This is not a bid, and I've referenced somewhat similar to that. But in the interest of bringing this county together, it's tremendous to see you here today. That's part of the process to figure this all out and save every dime we can. That I think you are quite, you know, that is your reputation, which I really appreciate. But again, the county's not, does not have that reputation, and it's crushing with what we're faced with in the future, especially when it comes to law enforcement. So, Commissioner Herzog, do you have any questions? Oh, you did. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Well, I just want to say I'm very familiar with that. Was very familiar with Avtec as a pilot because that's who all the radios in our airplanes were through. And they were bought out a few years ago. I kind of did a quick study on some of the different companies, and I just stumbled across this while I was looking at companies that could have dispatch boards. I stumbled across a 52-page City of Independence, Kansas report request for commission action dated August 27th of 2020. And the police department staff recommends in this action the commission approve expending 911 funds to replace their Zetron radio system with a Telex system, which is another competitor. None of the expenses will be funded. I'm going to skip down on this to the background of this and the reason they would like to see the change, and I would make this available to anyone in this room if they want it. Their current system of Zetron does not create, and exactly what Captain McDonald talked about, true redundancy between the systems for public safety, between the Independence Police Department and their 911 system. This other system creates true redundancy in within the radio system, and then also there were 3 workstations at each station as a standalone purpose for redundancy, and they needed that to pass their MGSO, whatever that is. But anyway, a lot of the reasons that they didn't want the Zetron system as it was, that didn't have redundancy to meet the needs of their community and public safety. And I'd just like to say one more comment on this. This was already voted on by the board to approve. And where do we draw the line? We are coming now into fire season. And again, everyone thinks this is a 911 board for the police department. That's a great part of it, but it's for every first responder in this county. Fire departments, fire rescue, there was a whole list that I read off. There was 9 or 10 different agencies that use this system for public support, public help and first responders to all of our emergency situations in the county. So I would urge the board to move forward with this.
So I thank you. I have one more comment. I'm going to oppose making a decision today. Yes, I voted to support this. I'm really sad that we drug Mike Robison into this in this sense that he didn't call me up because he's a good guy. He called me up and said, we're going to put $400,000 into Curry County radio system. And there might, he emphasized, there might be a way to save Curry County some money. I don't know. Here's what we're doing. What do you think? That's when I come to the board immediately, because he called me on a Tuesday, and we had a board meeting that day. So, you know, when I can't have an opportunity to go to this company, by the way, Zetron doesn't do well with Codan, the larger company, collectively, I presume that they do and are able to compete vigorously with anyone else in the industry. But that remains to be seen. Those are questions that have to be answered. Can we save the taxpayers some money and still get it done in plenty of time or equal time to what Motorola is able and willing, capable of doing? So I just want to emphasize, Mike Robson called with the director of Coos-Curry Forest Protective Association. He called with the right spirit, and he's got a Curry County background, to say the least. And I'm just really sorry if in any way his motives were anything but recommended beyond just a way he might be able to help and do his job.
Again, he's talking about the Hilltop radios. Had nothing to do with the dispatch console center that we provide through our 911 system.
And he clarified that in the beginning, Sheriff.
And I'll say it again, that when I talked to Motorola yesterday, they said they were expecting this to be passed, because it was passed, so they can get us into July startup. And when they said if it doesn't get signed, we move out of that queue down the road somewhere. And it's baffling to me that we're sitting here having to tell you this is what it is. You know, several of us made at least 3 different times showed you proposals on this, you know, and we have a lot of knowledge. We know what we're talking about. But you get one phone call from Mike, and you say he's a good guy, I trust him, and I think we can save a lot of money. He's talking about the radio system, not our dispatch console. And now we're faced with this other thing. It's not even a proposal. It's just a quote on some pieces and parts that could come here without. And again, there have to be an RFP set up on it. We're looking at months down the road. I'm not talking about 2 or 3 months. I'm talking a year before we can get this system in, if we have to go through this. We don't want this system. That's not what we asked for. We asked for what we have, an upgrade to the system that we have, that we know that's true and tried. So, Mr. Yes.
Go ahead, Commissioner Herzog, please.
I'm not interrupting, John, am I? Is it?
No, we're ready for a motion, though.
Okay, if I could just make a comment, you know, nobody wants to save money any more than I do, and I know we all do. And I do feel like the departments should be able to pick their upgrades. I think, you know, the assessor got to do an upgrade here a while back, and they know what works best for them, and we have this money that has come to us, and we're going to do it in 2 different separate payments, I understand, and Motorola's even come down. And so it's a huge chunk of money, but when you start talking about, I think John and Phil have both said that this system we have is like 20 years old. When you break down, if this new system lasts that, we're only talking $30,000, $40,000 a year for a system that is top notch. And I just think department heads should be able to pick their, you know, what they use. And I think that the differential for me is this runs the jail, the 911. Donnie's there backing it up. I've known Donnie since he was a knee-high to a small duck. Trust him and respect him. And So I'm gonna make a motion that we approve this and get this moved on, and, that's my motion.
I'll second.
Pretty persuasive, Commissioner. Any further discussion? I'm going to change and support this because for a variety of reasons, probably 5 key people in this room alone. So I will support this. Any other discussion, board?
So clarity on what exactly the motion is it that we're going to just basically go along with what the vote was last week and let the contract be signed and move forward?
I think we just need to support that it's already been voted on, and we're not going to authorize any further delays in that decision.
Okay,
Does that help? Commissioner Herzog?
Yeah, that's my motion. No more delays.
Okay, Commissioner Pash?
I'll second.
Call for the question, please, Staff Jesuit.
Commissioner Pash.
Aye.
Vice Chair Herzog.
Yes.
Chair Boyce.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you, guys.
May I ask one question?
Certainly.
Before we start here, the contract, you guys already have a copy of that. The Motorola would like to have that signed today, and so we can get that moving.
You just got preempted.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to say I provided the contract that has all the signature lines and here's the authorization or the process that we can use to do this. That's all outlined in that contract, and I would ask that it be signed today so that we can provide that.
So Commissioner Herzog, can we have your verbal authority, not to sign for you, but just to make sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Commissioner Pash?
No, I was just going to make sure from county council that we could, with 2 signatures, of course, go forward, and when Commissioner Herzog returns from vacation, he can sign it.
Yeah, the 2 signatures represent the
Can we get that sent somehow countersigned for him so we...
Council Pope?
Yeah, I was going to say that's fine. As long as there's 2 signatures, that's the quorum, and that's all we need.
Director Rickert?
And as far as the contract goes, if I understand everything right, Sheriff, you have the authority to sign that, correct?
Well, it depends on how the board
Commissioners
can
are signing
delegate.
the order.
There is a signature line there, yes.
The contract.
Council Pope has to sign it as well.
But there again, I want to make people unaware that it's just not for the sheriff's office, it's for the entire county.
Understood.
And what you have done today is the best that you guys could possibly do for our county to get this going. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Second page, council.
Thank you.
I'll just read through it.
Hold on, Mac.
Brookings PD.
And, Commissioner, if I can throw in there, Mr. Robertson, I spoke with him on a number of occasions about what they're doing here, and for what they're doing for Coos Curry, it actually is a good thing for them. I mean, for the forest protection, and there may be some time in the future that we can look at some of that stuff, but for this, it just doesn't apply. So, but thank you for your decisions today.
Thank you, Captain. I've concentrated on every word you had there. So, board, anything else?
If I could, one more thing.
Commissioner Pash?
Could you copy that signature page and send that back to us so we have a copy of the signature page? Thank you.
You're not done yet?
Does this need a order number on it?
JJ will get all of that.
So, board, do we have anything else before we go into executive session? So,
I don't think we added that to the original agenda, so we just need a quick vote to go into. Or was it on the agenda already?
No.
We just need a vote that we were
We're going into executive session now?
yeah, we have, I sent that to you, and it was item 1-3, I think. And that is to clarify the work we did at the last executive session on Article 28 and related, the personnel rules.
I don't know if that's an executive session thing. I think we need to do that in open session, Council.
I think the reason we should do it in executive is because it's what we talked about in the last executive session, so we can hold a privilege.
And
First day with your new feet, right?
Commissioner Herzog, you're away from cell coverage, is that correct? So if we had you come back at 1, that probably wouldn't be very convenient for you?
I've got something else going on.
No, it wasn't, but, why 1?
Because I got a real important meeting. I've already missed an hour, so I try and accommodate everyone's schedule here. So,
Can we just bring this back for our next Wednesday's meeting?
That might be a good idea. Do you?
Yeah, that
What do you
sounds-
think, Council Pope?
I think so.
Let me think just 30 seconds on that. You said you had something this afternoon, right?
Yes. I can't imagine anything more important than Curry County business, so,
Well, that's why I took 30 seconds. And you just cut my 15 seconds off there. Okay, we'll go into executive session. The governing body will now meet yes?
We just need a
Put it
vote.
on the
We have to
agenda
have two commissioners agree to that before we can go into it, because it wasn't on the original agenda.
So did you just agree? Commissioner Herzog? Yeah, we need 2 of the 3 commissioners to agree, and I think Commissioner Pash is in agreement because he has something this afternoon.
Well, I'm either go into executive session now or put this off until next week.
yeah, I'm in favor of that.
Next week or now?
No, right now.
All right, I'm fine with it. We can just take like 3 minutes.
I have to go get my card anyway, so, yeah.
Okay.
Brief break.
Wait, time out. Why couldn't we just put it off till next week?
Well, that's fine.
And you're 50-50 on that, Commissioner Pash?
No, I'd like to go either way, but next week would be better, I think, because then you'd have Commissioner Herzog will be here as well.
Okay, I think we have a consensus there. Director Ricker?
Good with me.
Okay. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
Have a great vacation, Commissioner.
Thanks, guys.